Anthony Gordon for 80 million. I still don't know how to feel about this deal. I'm not gonna lie. Before we get into it, make sure you like, subscribe, all that stuff. Welcome back to the channel. I also apologize for not making a match reaction for the Alaves game, the Valencia game. Who did we play after that? I know we won another game. Like, was it 1-0 or something? I don't remember. Bro, I ain't gonna lie, after the Madrid game, bro, I sort of disconnected. But we're back. Transfer news, all this stuff. With a bang. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know how to feel about this. Anthony Gordon for 80 million. First of all, I want to talk to all the fans who say, "Oh, trust Deco, all this stuff." Look at what he said about Luis Diaz. First of all, when Luis Diaz went to Liverpool, he was one of the best. Luis Diaz was one of the best left wingers in the world. Like last season, the only left wingers who were better than Luis Diaz last season was Kvaratskhelia, Rafinha, and that's it. Like what other team with any other left wingers were you talking about that were like on their level? Luis Diaz literally helped Liverpool win the league. Like, and keep in mind, Luis Diaz was less expensive than Anthony Gordon, by the way, because I think Luis Diaz was like 60 million or like 70 million max. Maybe 60 million, 10 million plus bonus. Okay, Luis Diaz is 10 times better than Anthony Gordon, and we all knew Diaz was gonna cook at Bayern. We all knew that. So people say, "Oh, trust Deco." No, listen, I'll trust Deco if he brings me a striker, at least one center back, and a fullback. And knowing this guy, I don't think that's gonna happen. And in my opinion, I feel like we need a strike. I think a striker is more important. Yes, Ferran at the end of the season was doing well, but don't forget all the bullshit this guy was doing at the start of the season. Like, so let's not forget that. And then, let's talk about the fee. Listen, everybody talking about, oh, when we signed Rafinha from Leeds and all that stuff. First of all, Rafinha was very highly rated at Leeds. He helped Leeds. He helped Leeds with relegation. And Rafinha was like 50 million or something like that. Rafinha was at 80 million. Second off, Rafinha was genuinely Rafinha was getting called up for Brazil. Rafinha was actually doing stuff. No offense to Anthony Gordon, by the way. Like, he won a trophy at Newcastle. Like, let's not disregard that. Winning a trophy at Newcastle is like winning a trophy at Betis. Or, like, I would even say Betis. I'll say Espanyol. Because Newcastle came back into the league, like, 8 years ago. Like, Newcastle were in relegation battles 5 years ago before the Saudis invested. Like, before they got the oil money. Like, so, but 80 million for Anthony Gordon is outrageous. It's outrageous. Listen, Gordon, one thing I do like about Gordon, and yes, I actually do watch Newcastle. I don't watch Newcastle week in and week out, but I do watch Newcastle here and there. One thing I'll tell you about Gordon, that guy works his ass off. So Flick will love him. He works his ass off. And in my opinion, I think next season, I think he'll be our best presser. In my opinion, Gordon is one of the best pressers in the world. Like, this guy presses. I'm not saying like he would ever join PSG. I don't know, depending on how he would do right now. When he joins us, but Gordon presses like the way PSG attackers press. Like, Gordon, he's a press machine and he's quick. We could all agree on that. Gordon ain't worth no fucking 80 million. I'm sorry. We could have done something else with that 80 million. We could have got Lewis Hall for that 80 million, by the way. We could have got Lewis Hall for that 80 million. Yes. I feel like Gordon would have been. I feel like I would have been more hyped about the signing if Gordon was maybe 50 million, 45, 80 million for Gordon is outrageous. Newcastle are definitely laughing to the bank right now. And in terms of that aspect, I feel like we haven't learned. Listen, Gordon can go on and prove me wrong. He could go on and prove me wrong. But 80 million for a guy who scored, I think, 2 open play goals this season is outrageous. In terms of the Premier League, I know he scored a shit ton of goals against Karabag and all that stuff. But Gordon he's very versatile. He could play on the wing. He could play as a 9. He could play central. Gordon is in terms of that sense, he's good. And in terms of his pressing and his he's quick. However, I have to put the money aside for a little bit and think about the manager. Because every time you buy a player, yes, you have to think about the player individually and what the player has done for their club and all this stuff. But, like, just think about Hansi Flick. Like, yes, I know 80 million is a stretch. Like, nobody's getting this shit. Nobody's getting away with this shit. 80 million for Anthony Gordon is outrageous. However, I'm thinking about what he could do with Anthony Gordon. Every single attacker has thrived under Hansi Flick in any team that in both Bayern and Barca. When he went to Bayern, they had Gnabry, Coleman. Who did they have in the 10 at the time? I know they signed Coutinho, but Coutinho wasn't starting, if I'm not mistaken. And they had Lewa. Lewa's always been a backman. Lewa's always been scores. Gnabry was considered a bum, and Coleman was decent. Like, Coleman was considered just okay. Like, this guy had Gnabry in being I think a Ballon d'Or contender, like scoring hella goals. This guy, I don't care what nobody says, in 2020, Lee was a Ballon d'Or winner in my opinion. Like, he literally basically won Lewandowski the Ballon d'Or. We all know Lee was going to win the Ballon d'Or that year. So, look at what he's done. And keep in mind, let's not forget, Lewandowski under any manager he's been in has world class. Whether if it's Flick, Xavi, and Flick again, world class. But Gordon, we'll have to see. But I know what Gordon brings to the team in terms of off the ball. On the ball, I don't think Gordon is the best. Gordon, he loves to score like bottom corners. Like, I know he likes to do that a lot. He likes to curl the ball bottom corner a lot. But I feel like we just had better priorities. And in my opinion, I don't know what happens with Rashford now. Even though, listen, I don't think Rashford is good at all. Like, I think we should cancel his loan. But I feel like at that stage that we're in right now, I feel like we might as well should have signed Rashford for like the 30 million. So, yeah. But I guess if Flick wants him, I guess, I don't know. But 80 million is a stretch, bro. 80 million is a stretch. It's a stretch. Like, this is such a Barca signing. This is such a Barca signing. Like, if Bastoni was available, we wouldn't have signed Bastoni. Instead, we would have signed what's it called, Gordon. I feel like that's one reason why a lot of people are not talking about this signing as bad as it is, because the Inter president said Bastoni is not for sale at all. But we need a striker. We need a fullback, and we need a center back. And we need to sell a shit ton of players. I heard the 1-1 rule is back. We need to act accordingly to that. I need Araujo gone, Casado gone. Who else, bro? Lee was leaving. And in terms of this, listen, let me tell y'all something real quick. By the way, Alvarez says that he doesn't want to extend his contract, or he doesn't want to sign a new contract with Atleti, and he also asked to leave. PSG, I heard PSG were interested in him. PSG have the funds. The club that has the funds is PSG. PSG don't need Alvarez. Dembele plays as a 9, and they have Gonzalo Ramos, who I believe is leaving at the end of the summer. So, if they were to sign Alvarez, either Doué or Barcola has to be dropped, because then Dembele would have to play on the wing. So, there's that. But, so I think we get Alvarez. But we have to act accordingly in that deal. I don't want to see us pay the $150 million for Alvarez. 100 million for Alvarez or 95 million, and we take it and we move on. I think the highest that I would pay for Alvarez is maybe 110, 150, 100, 120. And even that's a little bit of a stretch because Alvarez really hasn't had the best of seasons to the standards that everybody that the footballing world holds him to. So I want that done. I want a fullback. I don't know what fullback I really want. I feel like the fullback market is really not that good right now. But I think if we should have brought somebody from Newcastle, I feel like it should have been Lewis Hall. I rate him a lot. I think he's very good. And I believe Lewis Hall, is he going to the English? I don't think he's going to the English squad, but he's a great left back. He's a great left back. And I think he's leaving this summer. Any team that he goes to, he'll thrive. And we need a center back. Bastoni would have been ideal. I don't think we're not getting Bastoni anymore. We just need a center back. I want a center back with experience. I want a center back with experience who's gonna hold the hands of the younger players and lead them. Because when we have our oldest player right now is Araujo and Kunde. Because I don't count Cancelo because I don't know if we're signing Cancelo. I hope we do because Cancelo has saved us in terms of when he's came in. I don't know if we get Cancelo. I hope we do, but yeah. Anyways, that's the end of this video. Hopefully y'all liked it. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let me know in the comments what y'all think about this Gordon deal. I said Alvarez. Hopefully I will be sitting here soon talking about the Alvarez deal. And yeah, I'm gonna catch y'all. Peace.